Kenya's rebellious spirit runs deep, woven through generations who refuse to accept injustice. From the Mau Mau uprising against British colonial rule to the fight for multi-party democracy in the 1980s and 90s, Kenyans have always risen up when pushed too far. These aren't just stories from the past, they're living memories that shape today's protests. Each generation learns that freedom isn't free, and leaders must answer to the people. When injustice appears, Kenyans respond swiftly and fiercely. Today's protests are part of a proud tradition, not just about one law or leader, but about justice and the right to shape their own destiny. The fire of rebellion, lit long ago, still burns in the hearts of many. When you see Kenyans protesting, remember, they stand on the shoulders of giants. This is a nation that refuses to be silent in the face of injustice. The expectation is clear: power belongs to the people. The struggles of the past fuel the courage of today. The roots of rebellion are deep, and the spirit remains unbroken. In 2024, Kenya's youth, Gen Z, became the face of resistance. The trigger a finance bill proposing harsh new taxes on essentials like bread, diapers, and sanitary pads. For many, it felt like a betrayal by President Ruto, who had promised to champion the poor. This time, protests weren't led by politicians but by a decentralized, leaderless movement organized online. Hashtags like #RejectFinanceBill 2024 and #RutoMustGo united thousands across the country. The anger was personal. Young, educated Kenyans saw their future slipping away. The government dismissed them, but the movement only grew, spreading to nearly every county. Ethnic and political lines blurred as a generation demanded to be heard. They weren't just rejecting a bill, they were rejecting a system that failed them. Gen Z drew a line in the sand, fighting for a future they could believe in. This was more than protest, it was a generational reckoning. At the heart of Kenya's rebellion is economic pain. People are broke, and hope is scarce. National debt has soared, and the government's answer has been more taxes on struggling citizens. International lenders like the IMF push austerity, making life harder for ordinary Kenyans. Prices for basics have skyrocketed, while jobs are few and far between. For many, the finance bill was the final straw, a symbol of a government out of touch with its people. The protests became a rebellion against poverty, inequality, and a system that benefits the powerful. Economic suffering united Kenyans across backgrounds in a desperate call for justice. This wasn't just about taxes, it was about survival. The people demanded a government that serves them, not foreign creditors. The empty pocket became a rallying cry for change. The 2024 protests marked a new era. Resistance born online, fueled by youth and technology. Platforms like TikTok and WhatsApp became command centers for organizing and spreading the word. The digital movement quickly spilled into the streets where it met brutal state violence. On June 25, police responded with live ammunition and tear gas, killing over 40 and injuring hundreds. Instead of silencing the movement, the crackdown fueled even greater outrage. Images of brutality went viral, turning victims into martyrs and deepening resolve. The protests evolved from anti-tax to anti-oppression, exposing systemic rot in the government. The more the state pushed, the harder the people pushed back. This was not just a protest, it was a demand for fundamental change. The call for the president's resignation grew louder than ever. Kenya's rebellion is intersectional. Economic justice, gender rights, and democracy are all on the line. In 2024, feminist protests against femicide joined the anti-tax movement. Both met with state resistance. Activists linked gender violence to economic crisis and failed governance. The youth-led movement lost faith in the entire political class, demanding not just policy changes, but a new system. Relentless protests forced President Ruto to withdraw the finance bill and dismiss much of his cabinet. But the fight continues. Debt, corruption, and inequality remain. The people's trust is shattered, but their hope endures. Kenyans demand lasting structural change, not temporary fixes. Their resilience is a testament to the dream of a better future. This is the painful, necessary process of building a just nation. Kenya's message is clear: the people will not be silenced, and their demand for justice will not fade.